concise and informative.
Hello and welcome to the News Machine, the hottest news magazine show on radio. We are reaching you from Hot FM stations in Lagos on 93.3 FM, Hot FM Abuja 98.3 FM, and Hot FM Owerri 99.5 FM, 7 a.m. to 7:15 a.m. Monday to Friday. I am Otobong Nkanta. This morning on the News Machine, Niger coup, Northern senators kick against military invasion. Nigerian Senate vote against military action in Niger. World Bank pledge support for Nigeria's economic policies, and 3 suspects in police net over doctor's death. We will also be linking up for the voices in the news. The News Machine will be back after these messages.
Now you can get your news on. Hot, fresh, exciting, and exclusive. The News Machine.
Reaching you at the same time in Lagos, Abuja, and Owerri. 3 stays for the price of 1. Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 7:15 a.m.
The News Machine. More than just news.
Hot FM.
We are more than just radio.
Welcome back to the News Machine. After President Bola Tinubu formally informed the Nigerian Senate of impending military action against coupists in Niger Republic who overthrew President Mohamed Bazoum last week, the Northern Senators Caucus kicked against the move. President Tinubu had, in a letter forwarded to the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, and read in plenary on Friday, informed senators of plans by ECOWAS, led by Nigeria, to dislodge the military government in Niger Republic with combined military onslaught. But the Northern senators at a press conference in Abuja called for caution on the planned military action and kicked against economic sanctions being imposed on the country by ECOWAS. Senator Suleiman Kawu is the Northern Senators Caucus spokesperson. The Northern Senators said emphasis should be focused on political and diplomatic means to restore democratic government in the Niger Republic. Meanwhile, the Senate has urged Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu, as chairman of ECOWAS, to encourage other ECOWAS leaders to explore further the political and diplomatic options and other means towards resolving the political impasse in Niger Republic. The upper chamber also called on the ECOWAS Parliament to condemn the coup and provide solutions to resolve the impasse. President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, announced the resolutions after the meeting, which lasted for about 2 hours. Recall, Niger President Mohamed Bazoum was on July 26 overthrown by his presidential guards. The Senate President also said that the Senate condemned in totality the military coup that took place recently in Niger.
And the Senate went further to deliberate on the executive communications sent to us by Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief, in respect of the Niger situation. So at the closed session, the Senate considered the contents of the executive communication from Mr. President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who also doubles as the chairman of ECOWAS, on his request for support in the implementation of the resolutions of ECOWAS on the political situation in Niger Republic, and resolved as follows. 1. The Senate condemns in totality the military coup that took place recently in the Republic of Niger. 2. The Senate commends President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and other heads of states and governments of ECOWAS for their prompt response and the positions taken on the unfortunate development in Niger Republic. 3. The Senate recognizes the fact that President Tinubu, by virtue of his correspondence, had not asked for approval of the Parliament or approval of this Senate to go to war, as being erroneously suggested in some quarters. The Senate calls on the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as chairman of ECOWAS, to further encourage other leaders of ECOWAS to strengthen the political and diplomatic options and other means with a view to resolving the political impasse in the Niger Republic. The Senate pledges the total support of the Senate and by extension the National Assembly to the ECOWAS leadership under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in resolving the political situation in Niger and returning the country to democratic governance in the nearest future. The leadership of the Senate is mandated to further engage with the President and Commander-in-Chief on behalf of the Senate and the National Assembly on how best to resolve the issues in view of the hitherto existing cordial relationship between Nigerians and Nigerians.
President Tinubu, in a letter to the Senate on Friday, conveyed the decisions of the ECOWAS on recent military intervention in Niger. The president of the World Bank Group, Ajayi Banga, has commended and pledged support for the policies and reforms in Nigeria, especially on the removal of fuel subsidies, saying he is committed to working with the administration to set Nigeria on the right path for economic growth. The World Bank president was on a 3-day visit to Nigeria to identify opportunities to create jobs for young people and women, address energy needs and renewable energy, and further explore the potential for digitization. He pledged the support of the global financial institution when he met with President Tinubu in Aso Rock Presidential Villa, Abuja.
Well, the fact is he's doing things that Nigeria needs to be able to do to correct its situation. If you don't correct the situation on fuel subsidy, you have a fiscal deficit that remains unsustainable. So he's trying to do all the right things. Now the question is, how do you navigate through the next few months so that you can set the economy on the right path for the future? As I discussed with him, Nigeria has to be an African champion. If Nigeria becomes an African champion, then we know that the African continent has a country, the largest country with the largest GDP, headed in the right direction. That's his vision, and that vision we share.
The World Bank boss noted that although the reforms President Tinubu is currently undertaking are not easy, the right thing must be done to give Nigerians a better and prosperous future. The police in Lagos State has confirmed the arrest of 3 persons over the death of Dr. Vare Diaso at General Hospital. The command spokesperson SP Benjamin Hundeyin, who confirmed the arrest, said that the police had begun investigation into the case. A faulty elevator at the General Hospital, Odan, Lagos, claimed the life of a medical doctor, Vare Diaso, who was working at the facility. Now it's time to get the trendy stories from the News Machine studios at Hot FM 98.3 Abuja. Let's hook up with more news coming from the nation's capital.
Good morning, I'm Tonya Kokodia. First Lady Oluremi Tinubu has renamed the main auditorium of Mariam Babangida National Center for Women Development after Dr. Mariam Abacha, wife of the former military head of state, late General Sani Abacha. The hall, formerly known as African Peace Mission Hall, was unveiled by the First Lady and renamed after Abacha in recognition of her strong advocacy for peace across the African continent. In her keynote address, the First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, said the occasion was a significant milestone in the collaborative efforts in strengthening connections and solidifying the progress in achieving unity and lasting relationships amongst women. She described Mariam Abacha as a woman of remarkable character and unyielding dedication to advancement of the entire African continent. And our leadership of the People's Democratic Party and its governor have warned the federal government of Nigeria on the danger of going to war in Niger Republic. The opposition party stalwarts who rose from a meeting in Abuja on Sunday said it was risky deploying troops to the Republic of Niger in efforts to restore democracy after recent military coup in the country. They urged the federal government to insist using dialogue to resolve the political impasse in the country. The meeting comprised of governors elected on the platform of the party, presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar and his vice Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, members of the National Working Committee led by the acting National Chairman, Ambassador Umar Damagum, and the National Secretary, Senator Samuel Anyanwu. In a communique read to journalists after the meeting at the Bauchi State Governor's Lodge in Asokoro, Abuja, Chairman PDP Governors Forum, the party also urged President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to cut the cost of governance by trimming down the number of ministers. The party also reiterated its commitment and support to presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar and vowed to rescue their stolen mandate in the tribunal, adding that they would do everything lawful towards achieving their mandate. And that's all from the News Machine Studios, Abuja. I am Tonya Kokodia. Over to Lagos.
All right, let's link up with the News Machine Studios at Hot FM 99.5 Owerri for the trendy news happening in the southeastern part of the country.
Many thanks for joining us at our Hot FM studios in Owerri. I am Ifeyunwa Nwana. The Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, Imo State Command, has sacked one of its officers for participating in last Wednesday's protest led by the organized labor in a special martial regalia. The sector commander of the FRSC in Imo, Evaristus Ebeniro, stated that the officer had been demarshalled and was no longer an officer of the Corps. The Nigeria Labour Congress NLC and the Trade Union Congress TUC embarked on a nationwide protest to register their displeasure with the removal of fuel subsidies by the federal government. Meanwhile, Ebeniro said although the protester was a special corps marshal, he had since been demarshalled and no longer holds a special marshal's identity card. The Abia State government is embarking on verification of all local government employees in the state. This is in continuation of the initiative by Dr. Alex Oti's administration to bring all state, local government, parastatals and state-owned tertiary institution workers, including pensioners, into one single database to forestall any irregularities in the administration of both human resource and payroll process in the state. The verification exercise started about a week ago with online verification of state civil servants powered by ACMAT Integrated Limited. This was disclosed in a statement released by the State Head of Service, Lady Joy Maduka, on Friday, the 4th of August, 2023. According to the statement, the exercise will begin from the 7th of August 2023 to Monday the 14th of August 2023. And finally, the Apex Igbo Socio-Cultural Organization, or Haneze Ndigbo, has called on Southeast governors to collaborate with them to end the sit-at-home order within 40 days. A statement by an Ohaneze chieftain, Mazi Okechukwu Ishiguzuru, fled the involvement of Finland-based Biafra agitator Simon Ekpa in the criminality affecting the southeast, noting that street urchins and criminals are using the sit-at-home order to cause violence in the region. According to him, the southeast region of Nigeria has been plagued by various challenges in recent times, including the sit-at-home order and violent agitations. That's all from our News Machine studios at Hot FM Owerri. Back to our studios in Lagos for the rest of the News Machine. I am Ifeyunwa Nwana.
You are listening to the News Machine, reaching you from our stations in Lagos, Abuja and Owerri, 7 a.m. to 7:15 a.m. Monday to Friday. Let's hear what correspondent Nesasani has for us on Voices in the News.
Senator Einaya Abaribe from Abia State talking about the sit-at-home order.
That there is no one in the southeast except the criminals who support this sit-at-home. Their modus operandi is simple. It's just terror. I have called the market leaders in Abia and I said, you can't continue to stay away. And they told me that the people have threatened to burn their markets at night if they don't stay away. So this is beyond the citizenry coming out to just say we don't accept it. Because what they have done is to use terror tactics to intimidate a whole region.
And on the foreign scene, one of Libya's top governing bodies has elected a new leader in a development that could further fracture the deeply divided country. The Tripoli-based High State Council on Sunday chose Mohamed Takala in a runoff by 67 votes to 62, unseating its former head Khalid al-Mashiri, who had led the HSC since 2018. And now bringing sports stories, Arsenal gave their hopes of beating Manchester City to the Premier League title a psychological boost as they defeated Pep Guardiola's side on penalties to win the Community Shield. After a largely forgettable 70 minutes in the season curtain raiser, Cole Palmer looked to have won 8-4 City when the substitute called home a stunning strike. But Leandro Trossard equalized in the 101st minute when his shot deflected into the back of the net. Also remember, you can listen to episodes of The News Machine and see videos of more news stories online at hotfm.ng. And that's all we have for you in today's edition of The News Machine. Thank you for listening and do have a lovely day ahead. Good morning.